Okay, so part 3 of our Inventor Puzzle Cube Project Quiz Study Guide video series. Okay, last video we got through where do you make new 2D sketches. So our next question is, can a 2D sketch be an open profile before extruding? Okay, an open profile, that's vocab that you need to know. Can a 2D sketch be an open profile before extruding? Okay, so in Inventor, I have a new part file open. I'm going to create a 2D sketch. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a couple lines here and finish it off. Okay, this is an open profile. What that means is it's not a closed off shape. Okay, that my points aren't all connecting to each other. My lines aren't all connecting to each other. Okay, so once again, I can do it with it doesn't have to be straight lines. I could do some arcs in here and really, make it look like any shape I want. But if it's not connecting from here to there, then it is not a closed profile. It is an open profile. But if I go ahead and connect them, we now have a closed profile. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go back one step where I don't have that line, finish my sketch, and then try to extrude it. Okay, this right here, it doesn't work. When I click the checkbox, I don't actually have an extrusion here. I have this like fake line 3D object that has like a whole bunch of planes almost. This is not a real object. If you look at it from the top, it's you can't even see anything. Okay, so we need to have a closed profile before we can actually extrude. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into that sketch that I just made, and I'm going to add that arc back in that I had originally, then finish my sketch, and I'm going to delete out that extrusion that I made. Oops, sorry about that. I'm going to delete out the extrusion that I made. I'm going to make the extrusion again, this time with that closed face. Do you see how it's like a solid object now? This is because it's a closed profile. You need to make it a closed profile before you can extrude it. So once again, the difference is between a closed profile and an open profile is when you're in the sketch, a closed profile means that all the lines are touching each other, makes one solid shape. If I deleted this out without them touching each other, that is an open profile. Okay, so we're answering number 12. Can you use a 2D sketch? Can a 2D sketch be an open profile before extruding? The answer is no. Okay. For number 13, what is a sketch called after you have made an extrusion out of it? Okay, so let's try that right now. I'm just going to do a straight line this time, but I've connected it, finished my sketch. I have my my extrusion here. All right, so after a sketch has something that made it 3D, and it doesn't necessarily have to be an extrusion, but the question asks for extrusion. After a sketch has been made something other than 2D, made it 3D somehow, the sketch is called consumed, which means that it's being used. Okay, so this sketch is being used by the extrusion. If I make a new sketch, so I click right here and I'm going to just draw a circle and finish sketch. On the browser window over here on the right hand side, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see. This sketch is underneath extrusion, so it's consumed. This sketch has not been made 3D at all, so it is not consumed, it's unconsumed. Alright, so that's another vocab word that you need to know. Any sketch that's been made 3D, any 2D sketch that's been made 3D is consumed, and any 2D sketch that has not been made 3D is unconsumed. Consumed, unconsumed. You can also look at these little plus signs, and when you make it smaller or when you collapse everything, then I don't see the sketch for extrusion. That means that it's consumed. Okay. So what is it called? Or what is a sketch called after you have made extrusion out of it? Consumed. The sketch has been consumed. All right. Number 14, what is the browser window and what is it used for? The browser window is this area over here where we have the part, we have our origin, and we have all of our planes, our X, Y, and Z axes. We have all the different 3D parts, the 2D sketches, and all of our information about our part. This is all in the browser window. And this is in a part file. If I go over to an assembly file, or sorry, a drawing file, I have a browser window again, and it has once again my information about my sheet. On my drawing sheet, I have what kind of text is there. I have my different views that are there. So the browser window is really used to break down what you have inside your Inventor file, whether it's a part file, whether it's an assembly file, or it's a drawing file. The browser is always over here, and it's used to kind of break down everything that you see in your file. And if you highlight your mouse over any of the objects, you'll see how they turn red in this area. So if I highlight my mouse over Puzzle Cube 2, that view, it actually makes it red over here. So it's a good way to see what all is going on in your project. Especially in part files, it's extremely helpful. If I wanted to, for example, get rid of just that sketch and I don't know where it's coming from, I can hover my mouse over it until I see that it's been highlighted. And when I see that it's been highlighted, I can actually right click on it there, if my right click will work, and delete it out. Okay. I can also double click on a part, an extrusion, a 3D part, or a 3D feature, or a 2D feature, and edit it. So if I wanted this extrusion to be larger or smaller, I could double click on it, and it gives me that window that I originally had for the extrusion. And now I could change it to, 20 millimeters or whatever I want it to be. And I could edit the part. Same thing with the sketch. If I went in here and I dragged this out and make sure that it's consumed so they're touching each other. See how it changes my sketch, okay? So you can use the browser to double click on the 3D or 2D part and edit whatever specific instructions you gave the computer the first time. All right, what does ANSI stand for and what does it mean? ANSI we see when we go to a new file and we go down, actually it's several times in here, it says ANSI here. If we go down to the drawing files, we have an ANSI drawing file. But basically what ANSI is, it means the American National Standard Institute. And ANSI is a organization that comes up with the standards that engineers use when they're making these files. And the reason that there are standards are because you have all these different engineering firms all over the world, and they're exchanging these files to like work with each other to maybe design a part or design a part that works with another product. And if they all have the same standards, if they're all using the same file type, the same dimensions, the same text styles, then there's no confusion on what's expected from each other, and there's no confusion on how to read the files. So there's a lot of information, especially in the drawing files, that there are standards for how you make the balloons, how you do the parts list, how you dimension it. And those are all developed by ANSI, the American National Standard Institute. So that answers what does ANSI stand for and what does it mean.